Welcome to the Yankee and the Brit. I'm Jay. He's Matty. And today we're going to talk about J.J. Watt being an Arizona Cardinal. I don't know, Matty. I never seen that coming. That was a team I didn't see coming. I wonder what you think about it.
I don't think anybody saw it coming. I've loved going through the media stuff today. For you guys who don't know, this is basically what me and Jay do. We're not insiders in the NFL, so we go around to all the other insiders and all the other news broadcasters, and that's all we listen to all day in order to get our insights and stuff like that. And nobody saw it coming. The Arizona Cardinals were not mentioned at all, not even a little bit. I couldn't find anything. I went back through the Twitter world to see if anybody had mentioned the Arizona Cardinals, and it just wasn't there. But great signing for Arizona. I don't care about 31 million. Good for JJ Watt. Go get your money, man. But even better signing for Arizona as well, I think, for reasons off the field as much as reasons on the field, Jay.
Oh, absolutely. JJ Watt is a class dude. There's never been a question about that. What he did after the Hurricanes in Houston was amazing. I think, if I'm not mistaken, he was Walter Payton Man of the Year for that.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
But I thought about this after it happened, and it makes so much sense, and nobody's seen it. Yeah. Like, you line him up with Buda Baker, Chandler Jones, that defense, right? And I am a huge Buda Baker fan. That dude just pops off the screen every time you watch the Cardinals play. And that offense getting better, having Hopkins, and I think Kyler Murray's just going to get better and better. But why it makes the most sense to me is, why did we all think that J.J. Watt was going to ring chase in his early 30s? And we all did. But it makes sense.
We were drawn into that.
Yeah, go get paid for 2 more years on a team who has a chance to be good. And then if you don't win a ring, or they're not right there in 2 years, you bounce and find a team like Tampa to try to win a ring your last couple of years. It makes so much sense. It almost seems to me like he's waiting for Pittsburgh to get a quarterback, then go play with his brothers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because, like I said, we were all in, J.J. Watt wants a ring for his legacy. What would help your legacy more than going to an Arizona Cardinals team, helping them win a Super Bowl? Or if that doesn't work, like I just said, you're 33 and you're looking for your last contract to chase a ring. It makes so much sense. I feel like a freaking moron for not thinking about it more and just saying, oh yeah, JJ Watt's going to go to Green Bay, or, you know what I mean? Ring chase or go play with his brothers in Pittsburgh but I didn't know I guess I didn't also think there was a team who was going to give him 31 million for 2 years.
Yeah, nobody thought there was going to be a team that would give him 31 million. There was some rumors early on being like, what if a team just comes down and lays out for JJ Watt? And an Arizona Cardinals team laying out for JJ Watt makes loads of sense because, as you say, they've got playmakers. Like, they know they've got the people on the pitch who can make a difference. So JJ doesn't necessarily need to be the guy that makes a difference. And look, JJ Watt is a great defensive lineman. And if anything, he frees up the other guys by getting double teamed. Like, he's the focus of every. I don't care if you think he's like losing what he's got going on. Everybody's going to double team JJ Watt, which means Chandler Jones on the other side, if he can stay healthy. There's a few sacks coming his way. But I think more than anything, it's an off the field change for the Cardinals. He brings leadership into the locker room. He ties the defense together. They've got a crazy amount of playmakers. They're a really young team. Buda Baker's an absolute stud, but now they have that leader to pull them together, to just pull them through the darker games, like their last game of the season where they got knocked out of the playoff contention. If JJ Watt's on the team, he might not let that happen. He might be there in the front saying, we've got this, let's go get this. But he's now got playmakers on the defense with him, which he didn't have at Houston, and he's very happy with that. And I mean, wouldn't you rather live in kind of Arizona in the nice warm weather than going up there freezing cold Pittsburgh when you've been living in Houston the whole time?
Yeah, and Arizona doesn't have horrible state tax for some states. It also has low property tax, but I agree with everything you said off the field. He's a class dude. He's going to make that a better city. But on the field, I wonder now, does this make Patrick Peterson want to come back? That might make him want to come back and play on that defense. Not that he'll take a huge haircut, but maybe he takes a little hometown discount. Plus, with Larry Fitzgerald in that locker room, can you ask for two better guys on the offense and defense, classy dudes who are going to do the right thing than him and Larry Fitzgerald? I don't think so.
Yeah, I think Larry Fitzgerald was thinking of retiring this season, but he'll definitely be coming back now that JJ Watt's there.
But his dad's a longtime news reporter for the Vikings, and one of the Vikings reporters, I forget his name, I was reading an article the other day, said his feeling from his father is that he's going to come back. And not that his father came out and said Larry's going to play again. His father's gut feeling is Larry's going to go back. Larry did not tell him this. So yeah. I'm just going on the assumption Larry goes for one more year.
I think he comes back for one more year, runs it back, and gives it a go.
I hope Larry goes to Minnesota for his final year, being that he's the Vikings ball boy. He's from Minneapolis. Yeah. But for him, a story ending is to win one with the Cardinals, if possible.
Or even get to one. Like that's the thing.
Him and Kurt Warner got him there years ago. But other than that,
Yeah. I think JJ Watt really brings, kind of ties the team together on the defensive side when you've got Larry Fitzgerald, DeAndre Hopkins, and Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray growing into himself, kind of hopefully becoming a leader on the offensive side. And I think it makes Arizona a team with a lot of potential, a real dark horse to go all the way. They're coming out of a really tough division. It's a good signing for Arizona considering the division they're in, with Matthew Stafford coming into it as well.
Yeah, and it almost makes it seem like it's a better exit point for Russell Wilson.
Yeah. Russell Wilson sees JJ Watt coming on the other side, first game of the season, and just goes, "Yeah, I'm sitting out this year, lads. If you don't trade me, that's the."
It's just like San Francisco's going to be decent because they got a good team with a lot of talent and a great coach. It's just questions at quarterback.
Yeah,
Stafford being with the Rams. Seattle's got Russell Wilson, can always win. It's going to be a real tough division all the way around. It's going to make it really exciting. And I'm also really excited to see how many snaps a game does J.J. Watt play? Because at first I thought he was going to go to a contender, maybe play 30 snaps, but maybe he does start. Maybe he does play full time. If he could stay healthy and not injured, we might see a J.J. Watt from 4 or 5 years ago, because when you have those injuries, you need a good year of not being injured for your body to totally heal.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll actually see a better J.J. Watt next year than we've seen this year.
He needs to kind of chill out in the weight room. I feel like he needs to be like, I'm 31 now. I play a high collision place. And I know that's who JJ Watt is, but if he wants to make his career longer, he may not want to. He may just want to play at the peak of his powers forever and only play when he's able to just absolutely pump iron. But I think if he chills out in the weight room a bit, says, I'm 31 now, I need to calm down, be out when I play, and be a leader on the training field instead, and call guys out, and obviously not have to give 100%, but still be a good example to what a professional is, rather than doing tire flip videos and all of that kind of stuff. I do feel like he's made for that stuff. It's his brand. So he needs to kind of decide if he's doing what you say and he's taking the money for 2 years and then becoming a contender and then going to a contender later on, he needs to look after himself for these 2 years rather than being a social media freak with flinging tires around. And on the training field, maybe just chill out a bit. You don't have to be 100% in the weight room all the time. Just save it for Sundays.
Yeah, and I think like what you were just talking, and Arizona was a really good choice that wasn't on the radar, because could you have went to Tampa for $5-6 million a year? Sure, probably, right?
Mm-hmm.
Could you have went to maybe the Chiefs for a low budget contract? Probably. But you got big money to go to a team who's an outside contender. So there's still a long shot. But if everything falls in place, you actually have a chance of having a really good season with this team. I think they go as far as the defense and Kyler Murray takes them. But I think you got an outside shot. And once you make the playoffs, if you make the playoffs, anybody's got a chance. And one last thing about the last time the Cardinals were in the Super Bowl, Steelers fans, Santonio Holmes' back foot never dragged, but whatever.
I would just like to kind of say that the defense is kind of finished now. You know, like their defense was a problem, but last season. But if JJ Watt's who they think he is, and we're not analysts for the NFL. We don't know how good players are like most of the time. We just can see what we see on the pitch. But JJ Watt, if they think that JJ Watt's as good as his contract, then they've found their pass rusher. That kind of finishes their offense with Isaiah Simmons seeming to actually understand how to play linebacker now and Budda Baker in the backfield. And then their offense, if they can draft a good offensive lineman, then you're kind of sitting there like, oh, they're a good team just in the hardest division, you know? Well, so like if they get out of their division, then they have a chance.
One thing is, oddly, there is more guards, and Trent Williams is going to be a free agent. So there's actually more decent, and Trent Williams is great, but there's more decent middle of the road guards on the free agent market coming up than you've ever seen before. Plus, as your point, it was a great move for Arizona because even if JJ Watt doesn't work out there, right?
Yeah.
You took a swing on a team who's got a chance to get better. Nothing's ever guaranteed in life, let alone sports. So if you take an educated chance at something that could make you better and it doesn't work, you can't be mad at the GM for that. Yeah. I think it was a surprisingly good move.
Also, I think they're selling out and giving themselves kind of relevancy. I think would we be talking about Arizona at this point in the season? Probably not. Not if it wasn't for JJ Watt. So they've done well to kind of keep themselves relevant in that division, like with Seahawks, Rams, 49ers, who are all getting talked about. And then in that division, you also now have Arizona, who, if they get out of the division, you could see them being a bit inconsistent. Like Kyler Murray's still a young, bit of a freak of quarterback, you know. So you can see them being inconsistent. But if they can get out of the division 9-7, you know, if they can get out of the division in that kind of way, then you can see them making a run from there.
I keep making the same mistake, but it's going to be like 9-8 or 10-7.
9-8. Yeah.
And the weird thing is, I was just going to say off of what you were saying is, it's going to be so different. None of us are used to 17 games, so we don't know how that extra game is going to change playoff seeding, right? Because they changed it in 1978, the year I was born, you know? So it's like, that's going to be different. Plus, this last year was the first time we seen this extra playoff spot too. So it's going to be a whole adjustment, not only for us, the fans, but coaches and players. Usually you can look at your record with most teams and go, okay, we got to win 2 more games and then we're into playoffs at some point in the season. Now with that extra game, it's going to be weird because they're not going to know how it usually pans out, you know?
Yeah, of course. And I think with that extra help, that really gives the extra playoff spot. I think that really gives them a chance to get through. And then once they get there, you feel like, yeah, they can beat anybody on their day. Is how I kind of look at the Cardinals. I kind of think, look, they're not going to be a first seed, second seed. I wouldn't call them a Super Bowl contender right now, just because if they manage to fix their offensive line and they come out first game of the season and Kyler's got all sorts of time to pass to, and then he can pick his run spots if he wants to, then you kind of think, right, okay, here we go. They've got something here. But if not, then I would still say they can beat anybody on their day in the playoffs. I would like to just finish off by giving a shout out to the family of Marshall Goldberg for giving up the number 99 for JJ Watt. Well done, them.
Yeah, that's a big thing because I'm sure it's happened before, but the only one I remember is Peyton Manning when he went to Denver.
Yeah.
So that's a huge honor when that family comes out and says, no, you can wear that. You know, that's a huge honor to JJ Watt. And not only do I think they did it because of his football play, but the type of human being he is.
Definitely.
I think that gets overlooked sometimes with players, like how great of an off-field person they are. Like, just to shout out, like Kyle Rudolph leaving the Vikings, not only it's not his play we're going to miss as much because he's older and we got 2 good tight ends. It's the type of man he is. And I feel that way about JJ Watt. And that's why I think that for Houston, not only do you lose a good player, but you lose a great guy in your community, and Arizona gains that same thing.
Yeah. I think it's a big thing to do as well. And I think we all want to see JJ Watt playing in that number 99. If they're Arizona fans, they want to see JJ Watt streaming down in that number 99. And it can only make them reminisce about their father, you know. And apparently he was a really good man, really good football player. So I don't know anything about the guy, but
I'll be
it's
honest,
really nice for them to do.
I didn't know who he was until some stuff hit Facebook, and I still only kind of know who he is. But just one last thing I wanted to say about making a good decision too, like just to touch on, you were saying once you get to the playoffs, they could beat anybody on any given Sunday.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if you watch Kyler Murray, I truly believe he's shiftier and quicker than Lamar in the hole. I'm not saying it's because he's a better runner. I'm just saying he's quicker and shiftier with those cuts. He can run almost as well as Lamar, and he's more accurate. So
I think he's a better pocket presence. Yeah, I think he's a better pocket presence than Lamar. I think obviously Lamar's quicker. Once they break the pocket, then Lamar's quicker. But actually in pocket and as a thrower, like he's a thrower. Like people are freaking out and being like, "Oh, he runs too much," but no, the guy throws the ball. He's a throwing quarterback. He looks to throw and then he makes the run. If you watch some film on him, you'll see his eyes are always downfield when he goes. Whereas with Lamar, a lot of the time it's kind of like the plays are designed to look like they're a pass and then he runs, you know.
And with Kyler, one of the things that makes me just a tiny bit nervous is I know he still thinks about playing baseball. So sometimes I wonder, are you all in on football, which he probably is. And then just to get so anybody watching understands, when I say that he's quicker than Lamar, I mean in short burst, like cone drills type things, where in straight line speed, Lamar will probably beat him in a race.
Yeah, definitely.
Don't get me wrong. Lamar is shifty also. It's just that I feel like I watch Kyler run. He reminds me of Barry Sanders almost, where it doesn't seem like he slows down to cut. Yeah. It's just this weird thing where they have this weird athletic ability where you almost think they're going to blow out a knee or an ankle because they cut at full speed and then seem to be back up to full speed like that.
Yeah, if there's any people who are Welsh out there and don't know who Kyler Murray is, then he'll kind of remind you of Shane Williams, who was about 5'8", playing rugby, but was known as the Step King. And it's actually Wales's highest try scorer, and he had the same thing where he just didn't slow down to step. You guys, if you want to look at some highlights of what good stepping looks like, then Shane Williams is the guy to look for if you're looking for someone shifty, and then you'll understand what I mean.
Well, and then I just thought of this since you were talking about if anybody's from Wales and knowing people. Shout out to Dylan on YouTube for commenting. He's from Britain and he loves us. So shout out to Dylan for your comment.
Cheers, Dylan. Thanks, man.
Like me and you have been talking, we weren't sure with talking football right now how many people from the UK we'd actually pick up. So shout out to Dylan.
Yeah, cheers, Dylan.
Yeah, I just saw that and he was like, as a fellow Brit, and then he enjoys the show and he said he loves our energy. So I thought I'd just shout him out quick.
Great. Let us know where you're from, Dylan. I'll go check out the comments. I'll go check out the comments right now because I've been sleeping on them. Sorry, guys. Awesome. Great talk, man.
All right, guys. Well, there's one move made. A bunch more to come. St. Patrick's Day starts free agency. Tags have to be in by March 9th. So that's when we'll know more about Dak Prescott and some other players. So we'll have a lot more to talk about between the 9th and 17th for sure, probably. And then, after the 17th, which free agency usually moves fast. I don't think it moves as fast this year because there's no combine. Yeah. So the agents and the teams can't collude and make deals before the 17th because it is really strange how free agency starts at 4 p.m. and at 4:05 there's 7 huge deals agreed to. And you're like, wow, you guys banged out the details in that one pretty quick.
They'll probably be doing it over Zoom, which means it's difficult to not to get leaks. So nobody's going to be like, oh, that person there is chatting to that person. That means this person's probably moving. So if they're chatting over Zoom, it can definitely be done more privately. I imagine there are things going on.
Just yesterday, Pat McAfee was telling a story about how he was at there as media at the Combine in Indianapolis a few years back. And he was sitting right next to an agent and a GM drinking a coffee, listening to them hammer out a deal for a guy who wasn't even a free agent yet.
Brilliant.
So
awesome.
I'm good with it. I know that they have these rules, but it's one of those things everybody knows happens. And I don't think it's a big deal. I think it makes the system go a lot smoother. Another thing I think is going to make free agency a little weird is if they don't get them the numbers of the salary cap before free agency starts.
Yeah, they have to do that. And they will do that. The NFL is smart. They're not going to.
Yeah, the teams don't even know if they should tag a guy right now or not, because it could be a $5 million difference. And people are like, well, it's only $5 million. But in the scheme of the way you write up contracts, that could be 2 decent players.
Yeah. The thing is, the NFL is smart. They know how to keep themselves relevant. And the way that they keep themselves relevant in the offseason is the free trades, the off-season market. So they'll definitely get it to the players by then, I think.
I agree. Yeah, it's definitely, they've made it a year-round sport, which for me is really cool because I know players are like, I'm not sure about 17 games. And me as a fan, I'm like, give me 20. Like, so I know that if you play 20 games, somebody may actually die. But, it's just the fact that I can't get enough football. I watch college football. I joked with my wife when we got married that I promised to only watch football on Saturdays, Sundays, Mondays, and sometimes Thursdays. So, All right, guys.
We'll talk about this another time. We'll talk about this another time. But in the UK, rugby is played like all winter long. It's like 40 games in a season and stuff like that. So, but we'll talk about that another time. Yeah.
I drive my wife nuts with the NHL and NBA, but she knew what she was marrying. So, all right, guys. Awesome, well, thanks for watching. If you're watching us on YouTube, please like and subscribe, hit that notification button. On Facebook, please like, follow, and share. And if we don't suck, tell a friend to tell a friend. All right, guys.
Even if we do suck, tell a friend to tell a friend.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Promote the brand. All right, guys. One world, one love. Deuces.
Cheerio.